Hi, I'm Megan, and this is Downsizing for Seniors, the first YouTube channel dedicated specifically to the unique needs of seniors who are downsizing. In this video, we're going to talk about one of the 8 biggest mistakes that people make when they're downsizing, and that is the mistake of generalize your downsize. It's a huge mistake. We're going to tell you ways to avoid it with lots of pro tips, so stay tuned. So while some of the information about downsizing on this channel is geared specifically to seniors, most will apply to anyone who's downsizing. This will apply to anyone who's moving to a smaller space. No matter what your age, I'm thankful you've taken a few minutes of your day to watch this video. If you're new to YouTube, all the content is free. Really, it's free and you can watch as many times as you'd like. If you've been following my channel, you know that we were talking about the 8 biggest mistakes that most people when they're downsizing, and hooray, we made it to the 8th and final biggest mistake, and that is what I call generalize your downsize. Now, let me say for the record, I blame myself and others in our industry for this error, because as a whole, we spend a tremendous time talking about downsize, downsize, downsize. But the truth of the matter is that downsizing alone is not enough. You need to downsize with a plan. You need to downsize with what I call a space plan. Downsizing without a space plan is generalizing. Let me tell you what the era of generalizing looks like based on a real life experience with a client. We had a couple who was moving out of their large townhouse. This townhouse had really good storage, including lots of closets, and the wife had taken advantage of this and was storing clothes in 3 large closets. We were working with them on downsizing the house, but the client said not to worry about her clothes, that she and her daughter would work on it together. For the record, the daughter lived close by, was very active with her parents, and in the downsizing process. Well, they were good to their word. The wife and the daughter downsized a whole closet worth of clothing. They had successfully gone from 3 full closets to 2. They had downsized a third of her clothing. Great job, right? Here's the problem. Yeah, she had done a lot, but the apartment the couple was moving into had 1 large closet for the couple, for 2 of them. The wife had downsized, but she downsized without a plan. There were still way too many clothes for the space available in their new apartment. The downsizing they did was just too general. It was not specific to the space available. And we see this all the time. Now, my company will pack and unpack clients who have not used us for downsizing, but not all senior move managers will, and there's a good reason why some of them won't. When we're hired for just the pack and the unpack, almost without fail, a few things are going to happen. The client will underestimate the amount of time it takes to downsize. As a result, they're often rushed and feeling sort of panicked at the end. And so with extra things, their answer usually becomes, just take it and I'll deal with it on the other side. This is a terrible decision for a lot of reasons, and it has ripple effects. So the following things we'll see happen. 1, they will spend more on their packing because we're packing stuff they aren't sure they can use or want to keep in their new residence. 2, they will spend more money on the move itself. That's simple. The more boxes we've packed, the more moving hours. 3, then we, on the other end, will spend way more time on the unpack because we are trying to put way too much stuff into the space we have. We often have to move and jiggle and reorganize and reconsolidate things over and over again. We see it all the time when we're not helping clients with their downsize. One quick clarification here. What I'm talking about with a space plan is very different from a floor plan. A floor plan is the plan for where the furniture goes in the new residence. A space plan is for everything else. It's the management plan for how you're going to manage your stuff monster. So, how do you create a space plan? Well, the first thing you need to have is a concrete floor plan. Again, the floor plan is where the furniture goes. But before you can space plan, you need to know what pieces of furniture are going with you. I'm going to devote a future video just to floor planning because it's one of my absolute favorite things to do. But for now, we're going to focus on the space plan. It's not that hard doing a space plan. It's really simple math, and I'm no mathematician. I don't even really like math. I know I'm not supposed to say that, but I don't. But even I can do this. So let's start out with the fixed spaces. The fixed spaces in your new residence are those things that are part of the residence. In the kitchen, this is the cabinets, any pantry space, broom closet, if there is one. Other fixed spaces are things like bedroom closets, hall closets, bathroom cabinets, etc. Any storage that exists in the residence before you move your furniture in. How much can you fit into your new fixed storage spaces? Here's your first pro tip. Use measurements. I know, again, it sounds way too simple to be a pro tip, but it's not quite as simple as it sounds. Too many people guesstimate. Well, the new kitchen looks a lot like my old kitchen, so I'm fine. Then it's moving day and we're unpacking, and suddenly they realize the new space is not exactly like what their former residence had been. Here's one that happens frequently. The new kitchen has no pantry, but you didn't realize that. You had looked at the new cabinets and thought they were about equivalent to your cabinets in your prior residence, so everything from your prior kitchen was packed. Now we're unpacking and have a pantry worth of food that has no home, or it has to display something else, and that something else doesn't have a home. So how do you avoid this? Measure, 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 measure. It's a simple math problem. Measure out the cabinets in your new residence. Then measure it out in your current kitchen. Give yourself a visual. Do not assume you'll remember. Everybody thinks they're going to remember, but nobody does. So take a piece of masking tape, cut it to the length of the new cabinet, and place it in your current cabinet. Do this for each one of your new cabinets. That's the amount of space you have in your new residence. Period. That's it. If you're storing kitchen items in places other than your kitchen, and we see this all the time, people are storing kitchen items in pantries, hall closets, spare bedrooms, garages, basement. There's sometimes kitchen stuff all over the house. You need to get it all together to know where it's going to end up in your new residence. If there is no space, it cannot go to your new residence. Simple as that. If it doesn't fit, you must omit. One more time. If it doesn't fit, you must omit. You're going to need to do this for all your other fixed storage spaces. Take the measurement of your new closet. Mark it off in your current closet. If it fits in the space you've marked off representing your new residence, great, it goes. If not, what do you say? If it doesn't fit, you must omit. If you're thinking to yourself, this sounds pretty simple, great, I'm glad. We've empowered you to do this yourself. If you're thinking this is not so simple, hold on, we'll get back to you with some more pro tips. But for my group feeling good so far, I'm going to give you another pro tip. You need to consider every space in your current residence. Do not ignore or forget certain spaces, and consider how moving into a smaller space is going to impact how you are using that space. I know that doesn't sound like much of a pro tip again, but let me give you some examples of what happens. Many of our clients are moving into independent living apartments. They'll be keeping their car in the new residence, but the apartment doesn't have a garage. So, where are all those things from your garage going to go in the new residence? You probably don't need everything from your garage, but inevitably there are going to be some things you need since you still have your car. So where are they going to go? Hall closet maybe? Sounds like a reasonable place. But now you need to set aside a garage area for the new hall closet. This means when you go to your current hall closet, you measure the amount of space you have in your new closet, and you need to deduct the space for the garage things. Let me give you some numbers to work that out. My current hall closet has 4 feet of shelves. My new hall closet is only 2 feet wide. I'm going to store my garage things in a tub in that closet on that shelf, and that tub is 12 inches wide. What just happened to the amount of space I have for my hall closet? Now I only have a foot because I need to use a foot of that for garage. I'm going to really need to pare down my hall closet. I thought I was going to have to cut it in half from 4 feet to 2 feet, but now I realize I'm really going to have to cut it by more. I need to go from 4 feet to 1 foot so I can accommodate 1 foot of garage space. Does that make sense? Let's do another. Let's go back to that kitchen without a pantry. No pantry means that nothing from your current pantry can fit into that space or the new kitchen. Or You need to downsize more items from your current kitchen cabinets in order to allow for the space to put the pantry items within your new kitchen cabinets. And one more tip about that kitchen. I don't want you to do this. I see clients do this all the time. This is really more of a sorting tip that I'm going to do later, but I see clients do this all the time. They have a cabinet that's about the same shape and size as their new residence. They open up the cabinet maybe and look inside and go, yep, that'll about fit, and close it up. Don't do this. I can guarantee you there's something in that closet that you don't have, and that space is better used for something else. So even if your old kitchen is exactly the same size as your new kitchen, do yourself a huge favor. Take everything out of that cabinet, really look at it. Is it chipped? Is it broken? Do I really want it? If so, put it back, make sure that it fits in the space you've identified for your new cabinet. But don't just assume you're going to want everything from that cabinet, because people are surprised again and again about what's in those cabinets. Let's try another frequent one. Your new residence does not have a linen closet. You will need to carve out some space from your master closet in order to store your linens. So let's say in your current residence you have 6 linear feet of hanging clothes. In your new residence you have 4 feet, but you're going to need to use a foot of that for linens. You are down to 3 linear feet for your clothing. In other words, you're going to need to downsize half of your hanging clothes in order to fit the space available in your new residence. When you're moving to smaller spaces, many of the spaces will be reduced or altered. If you're currently living in a family home, it's common to have a hall closet, sometimes 2, a pantry, maybe a linen closet or 2, not to mention garages, basements, attics, outbuildings, whatever. But in the new residence, it may have none of these or fewer of these. You're going to have to rethink those spaces and how you use those spaces. Okay, so hopefully you have a handle on the fixed spaces. Now let's go to that floor plan. What furniture is going? And how can we use, or in some cases repurpose, those pieces of furniture and the storage that's in them? Your next tip really belongs in the floor planning video, but I'm going to give you a sneak peek. So your pro tip is, your floor plan should consider function before form. There's a lot more to that tip, but when we're deciding on what furniture goes in the floor plan, you should be considering which pieces provide the most function, and often that means the function of storage. Once you have that floor plan finalized, you can start thinking about how you're going to use the storage spaces in your furniture. Use the exact same process you use for those fixed spaces. Only this time it's actually easier because you actually have the pieces of furniture with you. So start filling them as how you want to use them in your new residence. Use these spaces as a gauge for what will fit. And again, if it doesn't fit, you must omit. There's another huge benefit for doing it this way, that is putting things that you want in the pieces of furniture while you're still in your former residence. It will make the organization process in your new residence a snap. You won't have to figure out what's going in that armoire in the new resident or what's going to fit where, because you've already figured it all out. This is that space plan. The packers will simply transfer it from one residence to another. Bingo! You're in business. It will simplify your move and you will be a very happy person on move day. Okay, so how are you doing? I hope you feel good about the idea of space planning. It's not easy, and how you can avoid making that huge mistake of just generalizing your downsizing but not having a target. If you don't feel good about this yet, don't feel badly. This one is hard to figure out. Even my best, most independent clients sometimes get messed up with this one. So what's my pro tip? Well, first of all, a disclaimer. You know I created these videos to empower you to do your own downsizing. But there are times when no video can do justice to hands-on help. Avoiding generalizing your downsize is one of the best reasons to hire a professional. Knowing what you can and cannot reasonably handle yourself is a skill, and being willing to hire an expert when you're beyond your skill level is something that is hard for many people. Here's my other pro tip on hiring a pro. Bring them in earlier rather than later. This is where most people make the mistake with hiring a professional. They'll say, well, I'm going to try to do this downsize thing myself. It doesn't work, then I'll bring in some help. This is a mistake. Generalizing is a real problem, and most people need at least some help. So get the help early. Don't wait till it's too late. If you bring in help early, what's the worst that can happen? You're done early? That'd be great. I'm going to do a future video on how to hire a professional. You don't have to watch it. Hopefully I've given you enough tips and tricks in this video, and you don't need to hire somebody. But know that if you need somebody, they're out there. So we've tackled my 8 biggest mistakes. So what are we going to do next? Simple. We're going to talk about where to start. Practical, real-life tips on where to start. So be sure to join me for that one. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're watching it and know someone who would benefit from this information but does not normally watch YouTube, please be sure to help direct them to our channel. And remember, the start to any long journey begins with one small step, so take that first step, and thank you so much for watching.